Let us welcome our first of the proceedings. If you'll please give a warm round of applause for Dean Fred Roper.
Pat, I'm absolutely delighted to be able to participate in your retirement celebration. I suspect I've known you longer than anyone in Columbia other than your family. Pat and I go back to her PhD days in Chapel Hill. When she entered the doctoral program, I signed her paperwork. I came to know and enjoy Pat in both professional and social settings in Chapel Hill. Her ready laugh, as we all know and love, her quickness with puns, her warm manner made her a favorite with everyone. Her ability in working with children and young people was readily apparent. I came to USC in 1986. In early 1988, an unexpected faculty resignation in work with children and young people had us scrambling. I thought of Pat, and I tracked her down at the Durham County Public Library in Durham, North Carolina. I invited her to join the school in a temporary faculty position as an instructor. She accepted, and as they say in Hollywood, the rest is history. Now she's retiring after 28 years in that temporary position. Pat's talents and her creativity and her abilities in storytelling are legendary, and I'm going to leave that to other people to talk about tonight. I simply want to thank you, Pat, on behalf of the school for the nearly 30 years that you have put in here. I personally am grateful to you for your support during the time that I was dean. Your role in our distance education program made it very, very special. You're a trooper, and I suspect that everyone here will agree that I earned my money the day I made that call to the Durham County Public Library. I hope that you'll enjoy your retirement as much as I've enjoyed mine. And just remember, every night's Friday night, every morning's Saturday morning. Absolutely. Enjoy.
Very briefly, I will tell you that I'm one of these late in life people who found my calling. And when I found out that I had this advisor whose name was Pat Feehan, I thought she was Irish. So I started calling myself in all of my emails herself. And that just kept on with us. And I'm trimmed herself. And not only did Pat take me in, but she corrected me when I needed it, and she housed me when I needed it, and I tried to summarize some of the things you've taught us in this song, which some of you may recognize the melody. You coax the best right out of us all, Pat, in spring or summer, winter or fall. Pat, you got us making puppets, what youth librarians can do. And now these friends are gathered to give our very best thanks to you. You make the work we do seem like fun, Pat, but now I think this work's never done. Pat, whoever thought Columbia would claim the heart of this Midwestern lass? You've been so inspirational, you make us feel sensational. Time for a celebration for Pat. Keeps going. It's not 5 minutes yet. You told us don't reinvent the wheel, didn't you, Pat? You taught us how to make our programs ideal. Don't spend much money, Pat. Online we'd read and comment some more. and we had to memorize every single word in Podsquarb. You told the stories right from your heart, Pat. You mentored us from dawn until dark, Pat. And when the day was done, it was a good kind of tired that we felt. And at our graduation, how was it that we all didn't melt? So now remember how much you've shared, Pat, sing along. And now you know just how much we care, Pat. Who else could take this student and grow me all the special ways you have? Who shared and laughed and shown the way? You'll be beside us every day. And so we have to say hats off, Pat. There's a little piece left. We were meant to be together, that's plain to see. All of us here at USC. I can't think of any better company than we and Dr. Pat. And Sliss will rise again.
I'm Ashley Warden. This is Heather and this is Sarah. And we know Dr. Pat loves puppets. So we brought some of our friends from the children's room at Richland Library and we're going to take it away. Enjoy.
Oh, we're on our way to retirement. We're on our way to retirement. During retirement, no alarm clocks. During retirement, there are no alarm clocks. The people, they make us sound like this. The clocks, they never sound like this. Oh, we're on our way to retirement. We're on our way to retirement. During retirement, there are no assignments. During retirement, there are no assignments. The students, they make us sound like this. Are you sure you posted that on Blackboard?
When are you going to have my grade back?
When is this due again?
The students, they make us sound like this.
Can I have an extension, please?
Can we talk about that grade?
Are you really sure you posted that on Blackboard? Oh, we're on our way to retirement. We're on our way to retirement. During retirement, there are lots of nieces and nephews, and grandnieces and grandnephews, and don't forget the godchildren. During retirement, there are lots of nieces and nephews, and grandnieces and grandnephews, and don't forget the godchildren. The kids, they make us sound like this. Aunt sound like this. Aunt Pat! Oh, we're on our way to retirement. We're on our way to retirement. During retirement, there are lots of doggy kisses. During retirement, there are lots of doggy kisses. Andy, he makes us sound like this. The dogs, they make us sound like this. Woof, woof. Oh, we're on our way to retirement. We're on our way to retirement. During retirement, there is always dessert. Always dessert. Dr. Pat, she makes us sound like this.
Yum, yum.
Dr. Pat, she makes us sound like this.
Yum, yum.
Oh, we're on
exciting day for us. We had the read-in, which had 2,500 children come. Yes! From 86 different school districts. And a lot of you, I see very familiar faces and fresh change of clothes. And also, the staff of the State Library, we had a significant number of staff in Anderson today teaching librarians how to use the new summer reading software, right? I can't think of a better day that is representative of you, Pat, in our service to children. And we want to do a special thank you from the State Library for your sense of humor, your authenticity, your willing spirit, and all that you have given to us. And so we have something to give to you, and we are going to read it. Drum roll. This is a Senate resolution, and it was read yesterday, so this is a counterfeit. Your signed copy I will pick up on Monday. But it is a Senate resolution, can everybody hear me? To recognize Dr. Patricia Feehan of Columbia upon the occasion of her retirement from the University of South Carolina after 28 years of outstanding service, and to wish her continued success and happiness in all her future endeavors. Whereas Dr. Feehan will retire on June 1st. I didn't get your email, sorry. Pat, in time. With 28 years of service to the University of South Carolina and 48 years of library service. And whereas Dr. Feehan was invited to join the faculty of Davis College at the University of South Carolina in 1988, where she inspired many with her enthusiasm for learning in libraries. And, you know I like to talk to, whereas Dr. Feehan has numerous accomplishments and awards recognizing her outstanding commitment to teaching, service, and learning. And whereas Dr. Feehan's techniques in storytelling, theater, music, and song have motivated others to be advocates for children. And whereas the South Carolina State Library is appreciative of Dr. Feehan's contribution to the field of librarianship. And whereas the members of the Senate, this is where they do their thing though. And whereas the members of the Senate are grateful for the many years of service and devotion that Dr. Patricia Feehan has given to the state of South Carolina, now therefore be it resolved by the Senate that the members of the Senate, by this resolution, recognize Dr. Patricia Feehan of Columbia upon the occasion of her retirement after more than 28 years of outstanding service, and wish her continued success and happiness in all of her future endeavors. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to Dr. Patricia Feehan.
Amanda Brewer is here via video. She is a member of the Brewer Band, and she works at the Technical College of the Low Country.
So tonight we are going to make a video recording for Dr. Pat Feehan. She is retiring, and I had the pleasure of taking her storytelling class. And she found out in the midst of that class that I played guitar in my bedroom at home. And she made sure that I incorporated guitar into storytelling. And she challenged me one day to play the song that was on the radio. It was her favorite jam at the time, and it has become a Brewer Band staple. So we're going to play it tonight in honor of her, and we're going to send the video to her retirement party because she is retiring after so many years of making librarians. She has impacted this state and more, certainly the library profession, with her dedication to students and finding the things within them that make them wonderful librarians and people in the world. She told me once after class that I should have a band, and I do. So this one's for you. Everybody say thank you, Dr. Pat Feehan. Thank you, Dr. Pat. We know you'll be rocking and rolling in your retirement. This one's for you. My heart knows it better than I know myself, so I'm gonna let it do appreciate that. I'm going to send that to the committee that's putting her party together, and you all will be a part of her too.
Ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, gooses, geeses, mooses, and meeses, I have been invited here tonight to roast Dr. Pat Feehan, and I refuse. How dare you? We're getting untucked for this. We're also setting the timer. Y'all have been so nice, and y'all bring me out to say mean things about Dr. Pat Feehan. I can't do that. So I went hunting for some advice. I went to Dr. Sam's office, where she was throwing a bunch of binders labeled Blackboard Manuals and Procedures into a bonfire. And I said, Dr. Sam, what am I supposed to do with this roast? What should I say? And she told me, Thomas, just cherish the hellos as much as your goodbyes. And I said, that doesn't help me. And so I went to Charles Bierbauer's office, and I went to knock on the door, and I heard a thunk. And I knocked on the door, and I heard another thunk. And then he opened the door. He said, oh, Thomas, you just caught me. I was playing a game of darts. I was just cooling down. I have a very giddy interview to get to. And I was like, well, I need to prepare for this Pat Feehan roast. I need some good material I can use. He said, well, you're going to have to call me back later. I'm being ready for this thing, but, I'll see you later. And I said, whose picture is that on your dartboard? And he goes, oh, that's some guy named Lankies. You never heard of him. Don't worry about it. So, my best Pat Feehan anecdote is one in which I am not worthy. You did a youth services presentation for SCLA once, and you led a big sing-along to the tune of Summer Nights from the movie Grease. Everyone in the place knew all the words to this song but me. And it would not be a proper roast if I didn't let you know I'm not worthy. I can be worthy, okay. A winner is me. So, the next day I went and I watched Grease for the first time on Netflix. This movie's messed up. Everyone remembers these cute little songs, but it's like these kids are trying to get laid like their lives depend on it. And I work with teenagers, so I know that this is a work of nonfiction. Absolutely true. And I got to, by the way, in the song Summer Nights, there's a lyric that goes, tell me more, was it love at first sight? Tell me more, did she put up a fight? What? This is where I'm supposed to go, stop the music, hold up, no, get off the bleachers, stop. Everything you do, put that flying car down. Danny needs to take, so Billy, the guys and I have been talking about you, and we're sending your family to Nebraska in the wintertime, and we're gonna let you cool down because you think love involves her putting up a fight, which does not make sense. We're in high school. Please be mindful of yourself. Pat was my advisor throughout my years in grad school, and she gave me a piece of advice that has worked no matter what department, what hat I've ever had to wear or take off. She said the secret to all children's services is socks. All right? Because if you don't have any puppets, you can put a sock on your hand. Right? Socks. That was Grease. Grease was about the sex. This is about socks. If you're out of Lysol wipes, get some socks. Just wipe it down. Good to go. If you've got a kid who won't stop playing with their cell phone during your programs, put some socks on their hands. Now that phone's useless. If you have a parent in your story time who will not stop looking at their phone, you put a sock on their head. And they'll get the hint to pay some attention. But all joking aside, Dr. Pat, every time I went for you to get advised, you had some weird goofball in your office who was on the fence between 3 or 4 different disciplines in library science. And you were like, so what can I do for new services? And I'd be like, well, I want to do a little bit of children's and a little bit of virtual services and a little bit of cataloging and a little bit of management. And you just sort of like unclicked your pen. You were like, yeah, whatever. Okay, I'll sign it. All right, good for you. But you were very accepting, and you let me be myself, and I try to carry that with me into all the youth services things that I do. So, thank you. You knew then. And in closing, if you ever need help with anything, if you ever need a hand moving something around, I'm aware that Bierbauer helps a bunch of teenagers move their U-Hauls every 6 months, and he's got a strong back. He can help you out. Thank you very much.
Greetings from the land of Starbucks. I love being a children's librarian. There are all kinds of things I can do in my job that you won't find in most other professions, and that's awesome because I'm a children's librarian. Like, I can chant fun rhymes and sing silly songs and know that it's helping kids develop their early literacy skills. And that's awesome because I'm a children's librarian. I can indulge in reading all the children's and young adult literature I want because I know I may need to put the right book into the right child's hands. And that's awesome because I'm a children's librarian. Some of my best workplace conversations are with toddlers. And I know I'm helping them grow their vocabulary and their socialization skills, and that's totally awesome because I'm a children's librarian. That's right. That's what I learned from Pat. A dedicated children's librarian is with the children, of the children, and for the children. However, there are times when I must turn my attention to matters of importance to grown folks. And one of those very important matters that my husband and I finally squared away this year was writing our wills. I would much rather present story time to a group of squirrely preschoolers during the phase of the full moon than have to think about that. You children's librarians know what I'm talking about, right? However, it had to be done. It's just one of those things. And so I did what I imagine other people do when they start writing their wills. I thought back on my life, the places I'd been, the people I'd met, the things I'd accomplished. And definitely one of the most impactful periods of my life was earning my master's degree at the College of Library and Information Science. That's what it was called. I will always call it CLIS. And the most influential person I met there, Pat. Altogether, they changed my life. And I thought, how do I acknowledge this important period in my life? And how do I honor Pat and her legacy, which lives on in my work every day and lives on in the work of all the little chicks she sent out into the world? So I did a very grown-up thing. I decided to make a bequest in my will. With the help of Eleanor Swarat at the USC Development Office, I set up a gift agreement to create an endowment. And according to the agreement, when that time comes, the endowment will be used to support graduate students focused in service to diverse and underserved populations and youth services programming for library and information science. And then I also added a background paragraph so that people would know why I wanted to set up this endowment. And this is what it says. This endowment is established in honor of my youth services professor and mentor, Dr. Pat Feehan, who inspired and excited me
You can do it.
who inspired and excited me about serving youth in the library. And from her, I learned how important it is to respect children and appreciate their potential. Thank you to CLIS for fully preparing me for a career I love. The 2 years I spent here opened my eyes and enriched my being. This is where I learned what awesome people librarians are. And above all, thank you, Pat, for your teaching and mentoring and kindness and affection and good humor and bringing out the potential in me that I didn't know that I had so that I might positively impact lives of hundreds of children in the Pacific Northwest. Thanks to you, I am forever proud to say I am a children's librarian.
Via video, we have Christy Estrovitz of San Francisco Public Library, and she has provided a video entitled Well Wishes from Afar.
Hello from San Francisco, Pat. I am so glad to be part of your celebration and want to thank you for your tremendous legacy of innovation, play, and dedication to growing a community of leaders in the field of children's services and literature. Little did I know the 1998 Mayhill Arbuthnot Lecture would be my remarkable initiation into the field of children's literature. And I have you to thank for encouraging me to say yes to dressing up in costume as Lily, now known as my spirit animal. I had an incredible experience of mixing and mingling with authors and illustrators, meeting Susan Hirschman, but most importantly, seeing a model collaboration of public libraries, academia, as well as community and the state library, something that still really impresses upon me about the power of partnership and collaborations. It also provided these special moments, such as this picture that I still carry with me, a reminder of the joy that you have as being a children's librarian, maybe having Kevin Hinkus adjust your bloomers right before a photo op. I also have you to thank for encouraging me to be bold and be wild and go west. We had a lengthy conversation about a job opportunity in California when I was still living in North Carolina, and it was your words of encouragement that led me to say yes, and it's one of the best decisions of my life. I have the pleasure of working for the San Francisco Public Library, leading youth services, as well as growing my family here in San Francisco. Two things that that I treasure dearly. And lastly, I feel very fortunate to be part of the class of 1998 and benefit from you moving into a new location and clearing out your storytime props. I was the beneficiary of a banana bubble blower before bubbles became really trendy in public libraries and children's programs, as well as a handmade George and Martha costumes with a complimentary suitcase. And last but not least, something that has traveled to California with me is this mini megaphone. It was last used by Hervé Toulet when he made art with children on the steps of the San Francisco Public Library. It continues to be an incredible journey, and I have you to thank. And you leave an incredible legacy of innovation and play and a real champion for children's services. So thank you for being a guide, a mentor, and a friend.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm nervous.
You should be.
Well, folks, there's no finer testimony than what we've just witnessed from her students. There's no matching that portrait, but maybe we can add a little bit to it. And so I'm privileged to read to you some of the things Pat's colleagues have said about her.
Can you pull the mic over? Please. Thank you.
You're welcome, boss.
You're not getting overtime.
So here we go. Few professors have made the kind of impact Pat has made. Her legacy consists of countless students who not only continue to cherish her long after graduation, but who continue to share her work, wisdom, and inspiration through their own professional practice, as we've just witnessed. And Pat was very kind to me when I came to campus for my first visit. While I only got to see her toward the end of her career here, I noted her humor, her contributions, and her devotion to service. And Pat reminds me to be creative and to look for the fun in everything. Pat is irreplaceable. Her compassion for students and sincere interest in seeing the school succeed are what we should all learn from and model. I remember Pat's great enthusiasm and energy devoted to children's services and storytelling as an art. Her students generate that same energy and enthusiasm, as we've just witnessed. Thanks, Pat, and best wishes for a very happy retirement. And as a frequent invited guest at performances given by her students, I was always impressed by the joy those students obviously felt and communicated. Pat's enthusiasm for her craft was contagious, and her students caught the bug. One SLIS member wrote this: "I know that I once got an award from a national association because Pat nominated me for it. I also know that she had to do this twice, because the first time she submitted the nomination, another more worthy person got the award." Preparing those nominations is a hassle akin to the bother of assembling a tenure and promotion file. But Pat did that twice for a colleague. That was above the call of duty. And love, 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 and contagious passion. This is Dr. Feehan. I will always remember the warmth, kindness, cheerfulness, and sense of humor she consistently shares with all who encounter her. Pat's professional legacy will live on. She has inspired so many budding storytellers and children's librarians. And I have seen Pat in action, and I have listened to her students. I think the best way of expressing my admiration for Pat is through song. That's what this person wrote. That is not my contribution. So this is going to be a recitation, boys and girls. This is not going to be a singing. But here we go. Did you ever know that you are my hero and everything I would like to be? I can fly higher than an eagle, for you are the wind beneath my wings. You know, grateful institutions like universities and professional sports teams, when they want to acknowledge sustained, outstanding performance, they often retire the jersey and number of an athlete who has distinguished himself or herself. When they do this, retire that athlete's jersey or number, no future player will ever wear that number. For example, no New York Yankee will ever wear Babe Ruth's number 3, and no Pittsburgh Pirate will ever wear Roberto Clemente's number 21. As you all know, Pat Feehan's number here was number 17. You know this. I am pleased to report to you this evening that the powers have agreed to retire Pat's number 17. No future SLIS faculty member will ever wear number 17 jersey. That's Pat's. Now, I thought about stringing a wire in room 209 and hanging it from that wire, but I thought it would be better to present the jersey to Pat here this evening so that every time she looks at it, she'll remember that she's a Gamecock forever. You know, we will get somebody to teach literacy, and we will get somebody to teach management, and we will get somebody to teach children's literature and other literature to appreciative audiences. We will hire somebody to teach those courses, but we will never replace Pat Feehan.
It won't be easy. You'll think it's strange when I try to explain how I feel. That I do love you all and think you're divine. I'll miss the teaching. I'll miss the fun of watching you grow, face to face or blended online. To you I tip my chapeau. I had to let it happen. I had to change. I couldn't stay all my life here in this school. Committees and meetings were driving me nuts. So I choose freedom, running around trying anything new. I might take a nap on the couch or read a book all the way through. Don't cry for me when I leave you. The truth is I won't ever leave you. All through my wild days, my mad existence, I'll be back here soon to teach long distance. Yes.
Do you remember the good years in library school? The classes were endlessly gold. The fieldwork was a patchwork of clover. The assignments sublime There's gonna be anyway. And then we drink bitter wine. Those good days we used to know, where have they gone? Where did they go? Again, they told the race, and those the good days. Do you remember the deans and their rectors? The lectures, the parties, the cuisine. Our extravagant, elegant soirees. And everyone making the scene. But you know, it's funny, since we've lost perhaps we misjudged the lass. Perhaps she did have class. Well, she did have a lot of class. Yeah, actually. At any rate, we just want to scream. Those days exist, we used to know. Where have they gone? Where did they go? And raise your berets and toast the good old days.
All right.
They've disconnected my phone. On the horseshoe, the withered leaves collected my feet. And the wind begins to blow.
And we, all alone in their office, we can dream of the old days. Life was beautiful then. We remember the time we knew what happiness was. Let the memory live again. Davis always seemed to bear a melancholy feeling. Staff eyes rolling, faculty moaning, alumni hands are reeling.
I must go to the beach. I must leave it behind. And I mustn't get in. In retirement, these days will be a memory too.
And a new life will
Don't try to stop me, Charles. Wave your little hand and whisper so long, dearie. You ain't gonna see me anymore. And Sam, if you discover that your life is dreary, don't you come and knocking at my door. 'Cause I'll be living large and catching some Z's, and they'll be great. I tell you so. So Feehan.